You're smart, you're driven, you know what you should be doing, but somehow you keep falling into the same damn habits. Why? You've tried to stop the sabotaging behaviors several times before, and maybe you've even succeeded for shorter periods. But then the old habits just come roaring back. And there's a reason for this. Most people who want to stop their bad habits rely on willpower to stop doing behaviors that sabotage their goals. But most people fail because willpower is probably the worst strategy that you can use when you want to change your behavior. It simply doesn't work. But there's an ancient trick that most people aren't aware of, and it's still one of the most effective ways smart people kick their bad habits today. It's called the Ulysses Contract. In this video, I'm going to teach you what the Ulysses Contract is and exactly how you can use it in your life to finally get rid of those bad habits once and for all. And it all starts with an old story from Greek mythology. A long time ago, Odysseus, also called Ulysses, was on a journey home from a long voyage when he was warned by the sorcerer Circe about several dangers ahead, one of them being the sirens. The sirens are mythical creatures whose voices are so enchanting that sailors who hear their song become hypnotized, crash their ships on the rocks, and die. Their music promises secret knowledge and divine truths, which make it even harder to resist for a curious mind like Odysseus. It's the ultimate temptation to sabotage his voyage. The Circe tells Odysseus that the only way to survive is not to listen at all. But he's too curious. He wants to hear the siren's song. So what does he do? Instead of relying on willpower, he engineers a solution. He gets his men to tie him tightly to the mast of the ship under strict orders. No matter what he says or does, under no circumstances are they allowed to untie him until they are safely past. Then he gets all his crew members to plug beeswax into their ears so they can't hear the siren's song. As they sail, he screams and begs to be released. He's overcome with desire, but his crew follows his earlier command and sails on, saving his life. Once they're out of danger, his crew unties him. This is a powerful example of what's now called a Ulysses Contract. When you intentionally restrict your future self's choice to avoid giving in to temptation. He knew he wouldn't be able to resist in the moment, so he removed the possibility before he got there. He used his logical mind to create a strategy before he encountered the temptation, because he knew that in the moment his emotional mind would win. So how can we do the same? We all have our own sirens, distractions and temptations that are constantly trying to pull us off our paths and sabotage our goals. And like Odysseus, if we're honest with ourselves, we often know we'll fall for them because the proof is in the past. We've fallen for them so many times before. Believing that next time will be different, next time we'll have more willpower, is simply delusional. Smart people accept this. They know they won't be able to resist, and that's the difference. Most people try to fight their bad habits with brute force, hoping they'll feel stronger in the moment, but smart people don't play that game. They don't try to push through the emotion, they design around it. They don't leave their future self to make the right choice when they're tired, stressed, or triggered. Instead, they use their logical, clear-headed moments to build systems, safeguards, and friction, so they're not relying on willpower when temptation shows up. Because they know the truth. Your emotional state in the moment is not a reliable decision maker. So the difference between people who actually break their bad habits and those who don't is not more motivation. It's that they don't try harder, they design smarter. A Ulysses contract is basically when you design an environment that makes it impossible for you to give in to the distractions or temptations that pull you off track from your goals. Here's an example. Let's say you have some work that you want to get done and need to be 100% focused to do it, but you easily get distracted by emails or notifications. You could ask someone you live with to change the password of the internet and not give it to you until you've finished your work. Or if your phone is a major distraction, give it to someone for 2 hours while you get shit done. And make sure they promise to not give it back, even if you ask. In some situations, we can create unbreakable contracts that make it impossible to do the behaviors that we don't want to do. But in other cases, it might be hard to make it impossible, but we can still make it more difficult by adding some resistance or making it more uncomfortable to do the behaviors that we don't want to do. And this works really well too. Here's an example. If I have chocolate in my home, I'm gonna eat it. I might be able to fight it with willpower for a little while, but eventually the chocolate will win. How do I know? History is proof. And I'm not gonna fool myself by thinking next time will be different. So I make sure I don't have any chocolate in my home. Now, I could just go to the store and buy chocolate if I suddenly want some, but now I've put some extra resistance between me and the chocolate. It requires more effort to get dressed, go to the store, and come back again, which makes me less likely to do it. Or let's say your bad habit is to just watch Netflix after work on the couch, but you wish instead you could go to the gym so you could be healthier and get more energy. If you tell your partner or a friend that today I'm gonna go to the gym, can you send me a message tonight and ask me how it went? It's going to be more uncomfortable if you don't go because it feels like you lied or you're not a person who does what they say they're gonna do. And you're gonna have to admit that you didn't do it. And that is really uncomfortable. Or even better, if you have someone to meet you at the gym, you add even more discomfort if you don't go, because then you're also letting someone else down if you don't go. Adding this discomfort is going to make it more likely that you get off the couch. Remember this. Willpower is like bringing a sword to a gunfight. Your environment will always win, so don't try harder, design smarter. This is how you build a life that you actually want, not the one that you keep sabotaging. Start designing your smarter environment today, and you'll see how much easier it's going to be to build the habits that you want and get rid of the ones that you don't want. So now it's your turn. Drop one habit that you want to break in the comments and how you'll make it harder to fall into this week.